record button. Here we go. I'm here with DJ Battistella, wide receiver, DB with the Western Crusaders in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Thanks, bro.
Doing all right? All right, so let's you got a big football resume all over the world. Tons of places, tons of positions,
That's
tons
it.
of experiences that most people wouldn't have. So start us from the beginning. When did you start playing sports, start playing football?
I came to football late. I have to be really honest. So like the fact that you even say that actually just like makes me take a step back and think, holy cow, I've done a lot of crazy stuff. Because I didn't start playing football until I was a sophomore of high school, sophomore of high school. So I was playing soccer in middle school. So I was playing goalie, to be honest. I was really bad at that too. So I probably needed to get into football.
Yeah. So where'd you grow up? Where is this in the States?
I was born in Detroit, and then I grew up in Monroe, Michigan. It was a class B school, so like I don't know, where are you from again? I forgot,
Denver,
bro.
Denver, Colorado. We're over.
Okay, well, you know, like Texas is like, well, they got like 5A and stuff, like the biggest.
Yeah, that's what we.
We were like a 4, so we were the second biggest class school at the time. So anyway, I was playing soccer and I was bored out of my mind, and I asked my mom if I could play football, and she said, well, I remember this because it was really funny, bro. This is like a movie thing, but my mom said, "You got a face for radio, son. Are you sure you want to play football?" So anyway, long story short, I went out to play football. My dad said, "Hey, let our son do what he wants to do. If he want to play football and get beat up," because I was really small. As you know, I'm much bigger now, but at the time I was like a late bloomer, as they said. But at the time I was like 5 foot nothing, 120 wet, and not fast, slow. I was everything a football coach didn't want. But I showed out there, and the funniest thing was the first day of practice, my coach said, "Hey, you're new? You're from soccer? You play goalie? What you want to do?" I said, "Well, I'm goalie. I touch the ball a lot. Can I play center?"
Yeah, decent idea.
So, because I thought, man, hey, the center touches the ball all the time. Like, that's how little I knew about football. Like, so I went out there at center. He said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes." So he let me go at center. I went against this big Native American guy. Chad Frazier was his name. And he rolled me over about 4 plays. And I went to the coach, hurting. And I said, "I don't think I want to be center no more." So he said, "All right, I'll send you over there to DB. And I think maybe you could play some running back in the future." And I maybe saw the field 3 times my first year. I just was a water boy. I ran the water out there. It was no good, absolutely no good. But I went to the, weightlifting program over the summer, every day. The coaches would even come pick me up if my mom and dad had to work and they couldn't get me. I'd call them up, they'd pick me up, and I stayed dedicated to that. And I did the Bigger, Faster, Stronger program. I don't know if anyone does that anymore, but it was the early 2000s, mid 2000s kind of program that we ran. And I got bigger, and I got faster, and I got stronger. And then the next year, I was playing football. So, I mean, I got, starting safety, wide receiver and quarterback. And then, went from there and got into varsity as a sophomore. And not because I was that good, but because one of my friends got his leg broken as the #1 kick returner on the first play of the first game, start the season. And I was a backup kick returner. So the coach said, "All right, hey, Dennis, DJ, get in here. See what you can do." Man, I about pooped myself, but I think I got about 12 yards, and coach was happy because I didn't fumble. And then it was up and up from there. Got into the regional team, made the state team, got a couple offers. Wyoming was the best one. But I was a small town boy, and I came to football late. I didn't really know what that meant. I didn't want to. This is a real funny thing. I didn't want to leave my mom and dad. I know, as I'm sitting in Australia, that's really funny. But at the time, 17, 18-year-old me, Wyoming, why would I go out there? you know. So I turned it down. I ended up playing football at Trine University in Indiana, which is where my cousins and stuff grew up. And I used to go there during the summer, and yeah, played one season of football there. So I mean, that's kind of where it started. I'm sorry I took a lot of time.
When did you
there,
feel like
but
football really clicked? When did you feel like you really, after that summer, when was it the season that you were like, all right, I'm starting to get football. I know what to do out here. I know what makes me
yeah,
successful.
it was. We had kind of 7-on-7s that summer during that weightlifting program, and I became kind of good friends with the quarterback at the time, and he would just throw me the passes, and we went to that flag and the 7-on-7, and it started to make sense. It just, after being in it enough, and then getting my body into that shape, doing the bench, doing the squat, doing the deadlift, those 3 main lifts. Like I would lift them twice a week, to be honest. Like on the Saturday, Sunday, I would go back to the YMCA, for those of you who don't know, and I would go and I get extra lifts in. Don't tell my coach about that, because he would have hated that. But I would go lift again. I would do squats twice a week and deadlifts twice a week. So.
Get that extra little work in.
Yeah,
College.
that's it, bro.
How was college football? How'd you find it comparatively?
Man, when I went to college, like I was the starting kick returner, and I was a nickel DB, and I was kind of like the 4th, 5th receiver as a true freshman. So I didn't redshirt. I was playing. I got that opportunity, to get out there, catch that first kickoff and stuff. And being like that, I was 17 when I graduated and went to college, and I turned 18 during that first season. And so I was like athletically immature, and I was also mentally immature. So it was a lot, bro. It was like 2-a-days, as from August 1st to September 1st, we were practicing twice a day, no school, but just football, all the time. And it was so much, bro. But during that time is probably when like I got a lot of a skill like upgrade at that time.
Yeah.
So.
And that first season ended up going pretty good. No? How'd the college career go? Why only 1 year?
Well,
Take us through
yeah,
college.
1 year. Yeah. So because I was starting as a true freshman, it went to my head, and I was like that kid that everybody knew, like Detroit Dennis and stuff like that, and pretty fast for a white guy was what a couple of the dudes told me. Because I used to run. I mean, I have never ran near this time since, but I was like 4.55, 4.6 consistently. But I just wasn't ready, like emotionally and mentally for that. So physically, I think I was all right, but I didn't go to class as much as I should have. I got invited to some parties as being a football player, as you do. I got into that, and I, just got distracted from football. And so I think probably by like the 7th, 8th game of the season, I didn't travel. Because you can only travel like the 50, 52 or something like that. I can't remember now. And that was a big blow that like, oh, I think I'm mucking this up. Like I'm not doing well right now. And then the next week I got sent, like I didn't start. I got demoted at kick return. And then I worked pretty hard in practice. Maybe the next couple weeks, I got back onto the travel roster. I had just some nominal stats, bro. Couple catches, couple yards, 1 touchdown, a kick return for maybe 40 yards, a punt for 60. Like I never had an amazing highlight reel in college. I was just kind of a good player. I could fit in at nickel, play some receiver, and I was the practice squad quarterback because I had that. I was playing quarterback in high school a bit, and they needed somebody to do the practice squad reps. So, and I could take the hit. So I was busy getting those reps and not wearing the red jersey, line up, hit Dennis. So, which I was fine with because I just get right back up. I kind of took it as a challenge. And then I didn't pass my classes enough. I was in I elected to choose aerospace engineering, probably the hardest degree you could choose. And I got a 3.06, but I needed a 3.1 GPA for my scholarship and everything. So anyway, I got on probation and lost my scholarship, and I had to transfer. So that was my 1 year of football.
So then where'd you transfer to, and then what'd you kind of go down then?
Yeah, so I mean, I thought football, I messed it up. My family definitely thought I messed it up because I had so much potential in football and I didn't get to achieve it. And yeah, I called some schools for track and field because I had placed fourth and sixth in the state for the 110-meter hurdles and the 300-meter hurdles. And I was ranked top 5 for the 200-meter, but in high school you couldn't run all 3 of those. I had to choose 2, and I chose the hurdles. So yeah, I ended up calling a few schools that had offered me some, small scholarships for track, and a lot of schools didn't want to touch me because I had that kind of black mark of being on probation. Even though my story was a 3.0 is really good GPA, I needed that 3.1, and I was considered from that situation, like I failed out because I got probation. So it was hard to get schools to like be willing enough to even like talk to me about like how I could explain that properly. But I had 2 schools that were keen. Grand Valley State in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Division II, and then Lake Superior State up in the Upper Peninsula. And I visited both schools, and I felt like just a number at Grand Valley. And when I went up to Lake Superior, they took me in and treated me like a brother right away. And I said, well, I'm going to sign here. And I signed a scholarship for the 100-meter, 200-meter, 400 meters. And I went to Lake Superior State, D2, for track and field scholarship. So I got lucky. I transferred and I got lucky. And then, yeah, I mean, I worked a little bit harder at the track and field. And I still got the 400-meter hurdles record. My 200-meter record got broke. They brought in a Jamaican guy a few years ago, and he destroyed it.
Yeah.
So, but he's from Jamaica, so you can say, hey, I ran a 22 low second 200-meter indoor record holder for about 5 years.
Yeah.
And then 2010, 11 came along, and the dude, I think 2012, the dude destroyed it. But I still got the 400-meter hurdle record, so it's going on 12 years now. So that's a pretty good college record at D2, I think.
Yeah, real good.
Yeah.
So then what leads you, you finish up school there as the track athlete, and what leads you outside the U.S.? What leads this crazy path then?
Man, this is a crazy story. But my best friend I was living with, and was also, he was my teammate with track and field. He graduated. He was working for the government. The GFC, the global financial crisis, came through, government cuts, job cuts. He got unemployed. He said, dude, I'm going to Korea, and I'm going to go teach English to children. And I said, Korea? Didn't we lose that war, bro? Like, that's communist. He said, no, bro, there's 2 of them. I said, oh, okay. And anyway, he went over there, and he got a job and stuff. And I was doing an internship. I was getting paid a little bit of money, and then I started my master's degree. I turned the internship into an assistant coach of track and field at St. Francis in Joliet, Illinois. I was coaching there. I was having a good time, but I was like, I wasn't really enjoying myself. I enjoyed everyone that I was working with and, being at the meets and stuff, but I don't know. I just had this itch for something. I couldn't tell you at the time, like, what it was, but I don't know. I wanted to do something else. And my friend offered me the opportunity to go out there for spring break. And, being an athlete through college, bro, spring break was not the chance to like party and enjoy. That was like the chance to get more reps in the gym, So I never had a spring break. So I said, well, I'm a coach now. I'm 23. I'm going to go out to Korea, see what that's about, see what my friends having a good time. I went out there, unbeknownst to myself. He got me an interview at his school. They were expanding. They offered me a contract. They put the money in front of my face. I said, that's a lot more money than I'm making now. And they paid my flight, and I went to Seoul, South Korea in the summer of 2010. So, yeah, just after graduating, and not really knowing what to do, not having enough experience in that, I said, well, I'll go out there. So that's it.
So now you're in South Korea. How do you find football? Obviously, they play football there.
Yeah. So this is another wild and crazy story, bro. I was playing on a soccer team. As you remember, I was a goalie back in middle school. So I was playing soccer over in Korea because I was like, I needed something. I needed some kind of sport. So I was teaching in a kindergarten, teaching kids, English, ABCs, meals on the bus, go round and round, having a good time. And yeah, I was playing soccer on the weekends, recreational league, just, drinking a beer, playing soccer and having fun. And then I went to church, and my best friend, Sean, because he was there, and his missus said, hey, I want to go to this pancake shop up in the city. And I was like, man, we just finished church. I don't want to go. And we got on the train. The train was delayed, so we decided to take a taxi. There was an accident, so we got out of the taxi because we sat in the taxi for like 20 minutes or something like that. And so we went back to another, like a different train to get to the location for these pancakes that she wanted, because Korea, they don't make a lot of Western food there. It's not normal in their culture. So there's like a specific pancake place that we wanted to go to. And we were getting into the other train, and my best friend turns and taps me on the shoulder. He says, hey, bro, there's some football players over there. And I said, man, you don't be joking with me like that. He says, no, bro, look, there's football players right there. I said, I jumped around, and it was like a scene from a movie, bro. And they're carrying footballs in a bag, and they got their helmets and their pads, and they're like three dudes walking, a big, tall African-American dude, and a white dude, obviously looking, tall as well, and some Korean dude next to him. And I'm like, oh, damn, bro. I'll run over there. Hey, excuse me. I'm Dennis, DJ. I played football in college a while back. Y'all play football? They're like, yeah. What's it to you? Like being, football jocks. And I said, hey, bro, can I play? They said, yeah. Give us your number. We have a tryout for you. So I gave them my number. I waited like 2-3 weeks. I got a phone call on a Saturday at like 12 o'clock. They said, hey, you got to get to this field at 1:30. I took my soccer cleats, my gym shorts, a t-shirt, and I ran to get to that field, had a tryout. They had me catch a kick. They had me catch a pass. They had me do a 40-yard dash, and they said, congratulations, you made the team, bro. That's how it happened. So,
How is
then the next
football
weekend
in South Korea? How is it?
Yeah, it's good, bro. I mean, like, you played here in Australia with me before, against me, before. It'd be like some of those middle of the road Australian teams.
Yep.
That's probably the top of the competition. And it was just a good stepping stone to get back into it.
Yeah.
It wasn't super competitive because I'd been out of the sport for 4 or 5 years. Well, 4 years.
Yep.
So I was rusty. I mean, I think I fumbled the first kickoff in the game. Be real honest with you. Like I was dropsies, bro.
Yeah. What
Big
about
dropsies.
the culture with the coach was local South Korean?
Yeah. I mean, everybody was Korean. I mean, there's like a 2 or 3 foreigner on the field rule. I don't know how it is now. I've been gone for a while, but you could only have 2 foreign people, or like foreign people were Canadians, Americans.
Yeah.
Someone like that, Japanese as well, on the field at the same time. So it was a Korean league by Koreans with Koreans. I was just lucky to be with them. I had a great opportunity there. Got to play, defense, got to go back to playing DB and wide receiver and running back. Never got the opportunity to play quarterback, but I mean, playing running back, receiver, and DB, that's enough.
Yeah.
So
Was
yeah, played.
were there other Americans on the team?
Yeah. We had one American, two Canadians on our team. The other teams had their one or two Americans as well. And there was a unique team there. There were the Soul Warriors. They were like an Army-based team. So they were predominantly made up of like 60-40. So they had like 60% Americans from the Army and then Koreans as well. So we got to play against them. They were always a challenge. They were the best. They were the best games, man. My buddy Mason, if he listening and tuning into this, that dude always had my number, bro. He'd be coming after me. So yeah.
How many years did you play over in Korea?
6. I had
6 years.
6 seasons there. Yeah, 6 years. Yeah, 6 seasons, 6 years. Yeah, 7 seasons, 6 years. Sorry. So
you're
two
over there-
different teams. I started with the Golden Eagles.
Yep.
They were known as the ADT Caps, and then we were sponsored by Domino's Pizza. That was the best, bro. We won a game, and we got Domino's Pizza.
Yeah.
that was the best. That was the best. I remember winning that, and that Domino's Pizza never tasted so good. That cheesy crust never tasted so good after a victory when you knew it was free from your sponsor. So yeah, and then I played with the Vikings after that, and I got the opportunity to play in Japan 5 games. So I went over to Osaka and Tokyo to play games. So we played against the X League.
Yep.
So, and I mean, Japanese football is a whole nother level, bro. They're good.
Yeah.
So,
How was your team successful while you were there over those 7 seasons?
well, when I was with 3 seasons with the ADT Caps, and we won the championship, I believe, twice. And then when I changed teams to the Vikings, we went back to back. My last year, I broke my hand, so I wasn't able to play in 2015. And that was my last season because in 2016, I went out to Poland, and then I went to Perth and then Melbourne. So
yeah. So what led to we'll scoot it back. What led to the team change?
Yeah.
After the first 3 years in Korea, so 2013, right?
Yeah, 2013. Yeah, it was 2012. No, 2012. So I did the 10 season, 11 season, and 12 season. I think I changed in 2012 season.
Yeah. So what led to that?
It's a long time ago now, bro. I got a CTE is real, folks. Wear a helmet. Yeah. But yeah, I think it was 2012. It was just I took one of my best friends wanted to join the other team, and the coach at the time, me and him didn't really see eye to eye, and the other team was really keen to get me. And my friend Lawrence, he was instrumental in getting me to the Vikings because he had played for them. He was a Warrior. He had started the Warriors actually.
Yep.
And we became, because it's a very small community, as you know, being like an expat American international like football player. Even though they're on the other team, you still, like you and myself, like we still keep in contact. We catch up. We're not like best buds, but we know about each other, care about each other enough, Yeah. So yeah, my friend Lawrence, he got me kind of a tryout interview with the team, and in Korea, they don't really like you transferring teams. They're kind of that old school mentality of like, you stick with the team, you stay with the team. So yeah, there was a bit of a bad blood at first, but I think after, the second or third season when I was with the Vikings, guys in the Golden Eagles were kind of like, okay, so.
Yeah, he's over there now.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you're over there. You're one of them now. You're one of them now. Yeah. So.
What led?
But it would be nice. It would be nice to go back there and maybe have a game with the Golden Eagles before I hang up the cleats.
Yeah.
Just to return to my roots. Return to the roots. So.
What led to you leaving Korea and going over to Poland?
Oh, well, that's another. Man, I got crazy stories for you. I think I said crazy 32 times already, but my friend Lawrence and I, we started a local Filipino team in Manila, the Manila Vanguards, or Novatos Vanguards now. and we got connected with the local football there. I got to play in a game or two with them, like as the founder, coach, player. And they had a nice league there for some time. They've had some issues recently with, a league going this way and another league wanting to go this way. So there's been kind of a weird rift the last few seasons. But about 5 years ago, I got connected with a dude. What's his name now? I forget, bro. This is bad because this is recorded. But anyway, my friend Luke, and he recruited me to come play in Poland. So it was in the old Polish league. I don't think the Polish league has changed a lot in the last few years.
Split up or did something.
Yeah, they split up and did some stuff. I haven't been there, so I don't know. But I got an opportunity to play there. Sorry?
Which club were you with in Poland?
I was with Radom Green Ducks. I think it was the Division II team. So I was just happy to go and have the experience. My mother's Polish and my dad is Italian. So it was more also to get there to visit the roots, like my grandfather's side. My grandfather passed away when I was in high school, so I didn't really get to know him that well. And I didn't know much about my Polish ancestry. So the fact to go there, play football, see the sights, the sounds, the food of like my mother's side of the family, that was a alluring thing, and that was sweet. So, yeah.
How would you compare Poland to Korea, and how was the culture comparatively?
Oh, geez. I mean, these are big questions, bro. I don't think I can do them justice, but I'll try. Yeah, I mean, Poland was just, I expected it to be more Eastern European, but it was much more Western European. So I had like images in my head of it being like more rustic, but it was much more metropolitan and like, first world. Like, I know that's going to sound really rude, bro. I want to make some enemies, but in my mind as an American, like we're not exposed to a lot of these, what other countries look like.
Yeah.
As you know. So I was shocked. I was very happy. My time in Poland was grade A. Like, I would love to go back to Poland.
Yeah.
Like, it was fun. It was a fun time. And the football was good. Like, they get a lot of people out to those games, which is nice.
Yeah.
So Korea, at the other hand, not a lot of people came out to the games unless it was like the IFAF like tryout games and stuff like that. Then they could get people out to the games. But our regular season games, we'd have, mothers and sons and daughters and friends of a friend, and that was about it, like 50, 60 people.
Yeah.
So to go to Poland and see like, a couple thousand people in the stands and smoke and, halftime show was nice. It was nice.
Yeah. So you stayed just the one season in Poland?
Yeah, just the one, yeah.
And then you were over to Melbourne or to Perth first?
I actually had gone to Melbourne the year before in 2015.
Okay.
So I'd played over my holidays because when I was working in Korea, I went from the kindergarten job to lecturing in the university because I had finished my master's online. So I had gotten the opportunity to be a lecturer, and I had a paid holiday over the summer. So from June until August 31st or 28, whatever. I had paid holiday, and I got connected to come over to Melbourne. So,
and that was.
But prior to that, sorry, I'm missing some stuff, bro. Yeah. 2012, I met a drunk Tasmanian guy, Tom Newman, and he knew a guy, Mitch, who was playing with Craig in the Saints. So he gave me his email. I Skyped them in 2012, and I went over there and played December, January, February games with the Saints in 2012 season.
Okay.
So I had been exposed to Australia like that 3-month window there, and then Craig had moved back to Melbourne, and I was gonna go play with the Warriors, but Glenn was the QB with the Saints at that time. He became the coach of the Crusaders. So in 2015, he said, "Why don't you come play for me in Melbourne?"
Yeah.
And so I said, "Okay." You know, you were my QB. You threw me some touchdowns. You know, you're now the offensive coach. I know you're going to get me the ball. So I came here in 2015, played seven games, and then went back to Korea, and then, you know, played that season there, and then, went over to the Philippines, and then back to Korea, then played the games in Japan, in Tokyo, and Osaka, and then, you know, meeting that guy in Philippines, and then went to play in Poland.
Poland. So, and then after Poland finished, you figured to come back to Australia, and then that's kind of been your hub since then?
Yeah. So, you know, I was, you know, I'm getting up there in the years. I was getting close to 30. So I said, I need to put down some semi-roots, and I really liked Australia from before. So I went all in for it, and I knew I could play still here because I had been back to play in 2015 from the 2012 season.
Yep.
So I contacted, you know, the Crusaders, the grade A. They said, hey, man, you know, we'll take care of you. You know, like we can't, you know, because the league, as you know, here is amateur. You know, it's not a paid league. But they said, you know, we'll take care of you. We'll get you some housing helps. We'll get you some job helps. We'll make it very comfortable for you. If you agree to be with us, we'll help you stay here. I said, well, that's what I'm looking for. So, yeah, I've been here since 2016.
2016, and with one season back over in Western Australia for the Vipers, but otherwise
Correct.
all with the Crew.
Yeah, I played the season. I finished the season in 2016 with the Crew. After Poland, I came here, played the last 5 games with the Crew, and then I went straight from the championship in Victoria to WA to play with the Vipers.
Any idea how many games you've played overseas or seasons all added up or anything?
It was near. I played my 250th game last season, so it's. I think it's 254 or 255. So 255 games. Yeah, it's a lot.
That is a lot overseas.
It's a lot of games.
How would you say Australian football has changed from when you first saw it in 2012 to where it's at now in 2020?
So much more exposure since then, bro. Like you couldn't find NFL on the TV. Now it's, you know, you can find it on the TV. People know about it. Like if you told people before, they say, you mean rugby? And you'd be like, no. NFL, gridiron, you know, like American football. They say, oh yeah, that's for weak people. They have this idea that rugby is tougher. Agree to disagree there, right? I mean, both sports are, you know, good in their own way. Yeah. So anyway, long story short, they, it's huge now. Like, I mean, you walk around now, I mean, there's a lot more awareness to it. You know, the league's gotten bigger, I think, in WA here as well. You know, like it was 7 or 6 teams, and now I think there's 8 or 9 teams in WA.
Yeah.
You know, there was about 8 teams here when I started, and now there's 12. So, you know, I mean, it's getting there. It's getting to a point where it's nice. You know, it's nice. Yeah. Like our championship, maybe 2-3 years ago, we had a couple thousand people show up in Melbourne. So,
which was the best team you played for? Any team, any year, best one.
The best team I played for. Man, I'm gonna make some enemies by saying that.
Are these recent Crew teams?
You know, the best game that I played was probably being a member of the Korea Tigers, which were an amalgamation of the university team of Korea University that I coached, plus some of the players from the men's league. We went to play the Philippine national team in Manila at the stadium there. They have a blue turf like Boise State, lights, everything. That team, that experience of being on that team was probably the best that I've had as an international football player. Just the whole, like, we flew in, everybody, like, I think because I had coached a lot of the players and I finally got that opportunity to play with them, it was that, that different level. And we didn't end up getting the victory. We lost. But I think 16 or 14, I don't know. There's an AFI article about it, American Football International article. And I was allowed to run my halfback pass play, which I drew up. and I threw a touchdown. So that's probably why I really like that game, because I was 1 for 1 in a touchdown, 80 yards on the 20-yard line. It
That
doesn't
would
get better than that.
That would be the best venue you played at? If you had to say best venue?
Not the best venue, but it was just the whole environment. Like, there was a lot of fans and there's announcers and cheerleaders and stuff. And it was just, if you've ever been to the Philippines, they're very like nice and accommodating people and just kind. And, to have members of like the team that I started in Manila on the national team, playing against those guys that I coached, and then playing with the guys that I coached in Korea, plus some of my teammates from the men's league that I've been a part of for a long time. That was just a really, kind of cherry on the top moment. So I think that was probably the best team experience.
Yep.
The best team in terms of talent would have probably been the opportunity to play for the Victorian Eagles 2 years ago. I mean, we didn't win it, but the amount of talent that we had on that roster from Victoria, like all the best players from Victoria playing against Queensland and WA, yourself, that was an honor. That was a real honor, the chance to play there.
Pretty good football. Where's
Yeah,
the best
football.
venue you played then in this time?
It had to be when I went with the Vikings, the Seoul Vikings, to Osaka to play the Osaka J Stars in Kobe. And that stadium, bro, a real football stadium, turf, beautiful scoreboard, cheerleaders, couple thousand fans, and it was a spring league game. So this wasn't even the full Japanese football experience. Was just awesome, and just to see international people getting around, America's kind of game, and to see the execution and the players. And they had a high school game after us, and it was just like, man, these young Japanese players playing our sport like this, and it's their sport now, and it's just, that was a really surreal, awesome experience. And that was the best stadium facility that I've been able to play at. I've been blessed to play at. Yeah.
Where's the worst venue?
Oh, bro, in Korea, bro, they got dirt fields, bro. Hard packed dirt. Yeah, like the old cinder tracks back in the day. They got fields like that in Korea. So that was the worst field I played on, bro.
Okay, next one. Craziest story we've all had overseas where we're in buses or this or that or something happens. What's your craziest one that sticks out in your mind of we were playing a game, this happened, or trying to get to a game and that happened?
Man, there's so many games, bro. That's a really hard question. So I got to think for a minute. Man, the craziest experience playing football abroad. Man, I don't know.
We can get back to that one.
Give me some time to think about that.
We're down in Brazil and we're going on like 20-hour bus trips and the bus gets lost and stuff. Or high school football, we got in a brawl with another team. What makes teams – so you've been on a lot of very successful teams. What is the biggest determining factor in what makes teams successful versus unsuccessful, especially overseas?
Man, it starts with – definitely has to start with the coaches. I haven't had the best coaches, but I have to say that I've had the coaches that believed in us the best. But no matter who we were playing, in their mind, they believed that we could win. And I think that's been the thing that has stood out to me, has been those coaches understanding that and then applying the talent correctly. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, it's not about those X's and O's. It's about your Jimmies and Joes. I used to talk about that with my friend Lawrence when we were coaching. We coached Korea University for 3-4 years together. And we used to say that because we had a small, undersized team, but we believed that they could win at any opportunity that they had a chance to win the game. And I think that's the thing that sticks out the most when I think about the opportunities I've had with these successful teams, what's been the difference has been the belief from the coaches in the players that helps lift everybody up.
Definitely. Who's your favorite teammate you ever had?
My favorite teammate.
Favorite teammate.
Damn. That's a lot. I got a lot of teammates. Oh. That's a missus. I'm taking too long, bro. She gave me the timeout. No more. But anyway, the favorite teammate? Man, I've had a lot of good teammates, bro.
Funniest teammate.
Funniest teammate? Man, funniest teammate is definitely Ibrahim Zlystra, my quarterback from Seoul, my early days. He's a Canadian guy. He played at Queen's University. He's a backup to Tommy Dennison, a CFL great. He is funny, bro. It's just something about that Canadian humor, bro. It gets me going every time.
Who's your favorite NFL player?
My favorite NFL player probably had to be Brandon Marshall. I loved watching that dude, and like he was a big boy. I mean, you know, I'm not as big as him, but I try to be big as him.
Yeah.
But he was a good route runner. People never realize that about Brandon Marshall. He ran really good routes. If you watch some highlights of Brandon Marshall, you see his routes. He ran them really well. And I try to emulate that. That's why I wear 15 too, Brandon Marshall.
Brandon Marshall. Favorite NFL team?
Yeah. Well, being born from Detroit, I grew up watching Barry Sanders.
You're a Lions guy.
I'm a Lions fan through and through, born and raised.
Let's go.
Unfortunately.
That's commitment. That tells a lot.
Unfortunately, I'm still there. I'll still root for the Lions. They upset me every week. I mean, the only week that's really good is the bye week because I know my Lions won't somehow lose.
Yeah, exactly. 2 last questions. Number one, what's your goals for the future? What's your future goals with football? You played 254 games, all these seasons, all these countries.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I started back in 2000, and to still be playing is just a miracle. I mean, I think about a lot of the guys I played with who are really talented and they're still not playing, you know, or they had, you know, some things happen with life. You know, life catches up to you. I've been lucky. You know, I've had some injuries, but I've been able to bounce back from them and be effective still. So that's been good. Looking to the future, you know, I want to get into coaching a bit, but at the same time, it's not the same as playing. So I'm kind of looking for, you know, a good last few experiences, you know, put a feather in the hat. You know, I mean, I've played in Korea, China, Japan. I played a game in Hong Kong with the WA All-Stars. You know, play here in Australia, Poland, you know, back home, you know, maybe scratching another couple countries off the list, you know, maybe over in England or something like that, or getting back to Poland, or, you know, maybe Italy. You know, Italy is my grandfather's homeland, so to play there would be kind of cool, bro, you know, but I wouldn't mind, you know, even going South America, you know, playing in Brazil or something like that, you know, get another continent on the list, I guess. Yeah. So
yeah, they keep you on your toes down there.
That's it.
What needs to happen to grow the sport to that next level in Australia? You said it's grown. What's the next steps?
Man.
Because I'd say after I've been these places, Australia has the most resources to grow the sport.
Yes, correct. I agree. They've got a sport community. They've got, you know, rugby fields all around, so they've got the availability for it. It's an easy change for those guys from rugby to come into the sport. You know, it's an easy transition, I think, if you can get them a little bit younger. You know, I think we saw Jared Hayne come over, you know, to the 49ers a few years ago. He did okay. You know, obviously he made it to the pros, so that tells you that rugby skills translate very well. I think it's a lot about just, I think it's a lot about just hitting the pavement and getting people aware of it, because there's still a lot of people here who don't know about it.
Yep.
And I think that starts with a lot of the communities of you know, gridiron here in Australia is just, you know, reaching out, that public relations aspect where they reach out, you know, maybe put a few commercials up in the TV a bit, You know, I mean, I'm not a marketing genius, but, you know, just allowing people to know, you know, that it's available, I think would be huge, you know, to see the sport grow. So, I mean, we've got women's teams, we've got under 15s, we've got under 19s. So they're doing all those things right. That's going to lead to the growth. And I think, you know, maybe you and I, we're a bit of a, you know, the Mavens, Mavericks, we're coming in early. You know, maybe in 10 years, it's going to be a really good place to play football, bro, I think, you know.
I
So,
think it's going to continue to trend in that direction.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can see the viewership, you know, just looking at local TV channels and, you know, seeing it be on those, you know, 7 sports and, you know, the casinos hosting it and, you know, those kind of things, you know, it's becoming a bigger part of the culture. So I would expect another thing that would be huge would be for like the NFL to have some games here. I don't think the NFL's listening, but hey, NFL, if you're listening, bro, bring a game here.
Yeah.
You know, next season when Corona's away, you know, bring some preseason. Yeah, they've got the stadiums here with the cricket fields. You know, hold 100,000 people. You know, play a preseason game here. You know, in Melbourne. You know, that'd be nice. The MCG holds 100,000. Fill it up. You know, that'd be a great experience to get some awareness. Sell some jerseys as well.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. No, I think it's gone leaps and bounds since we've been there. Last one, crazy story. We come back to it.
Whew. Yeah, there's a crazy story. We had our starting linebacker on the Vikings. We flew into Osaka to play the game, or we were going to the airport, sorry, and the dude passport expired and he forgot to update it. We got to the airport. We're doing this group check-in, so the tickets have been bought through the group, you know, so like we didn't need all of our passports to buy the ticket. Yeah. So anyway, but at the gate, we need to give the passport to get in the plane. And this guy, he's like, oh, what? My passport expired? No. So anyway, he doesn't get to come on the trip for the pregame and the day before, you know, get to the facilities and run-throughs and all that. Anyway, somehow he knew somebody who knew somebody in Korea, and he got a passport in 24 hours because he was there at kickoff. So I don't know how that happened, but I want to know how it happened so that I can do that in the future.
Late arriving middle linebacker. Perfect,
That's
man.
it. Later.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate you staying up late. You know, 14-hour time zone difference or whatever we got here, going Ireland to Melbourne. But best of luck with this coming season. Hopefully Corona gets out of the way and the crew can, what is it, a 4-peat you're going for? 5-peat?
Yeah, 4-peat. Yeah.
Hopefully you guys can get back on the field and start going towards that 4-peat.
Yeah, we've gone 40 games without a loss. That's a good accomplishment.
Yeah, get on that Western Crusader bandwagon while it's still rolling.
Yeah, like the Facebook page, follow on Instagram. You know, got it here. I've been repping it the whole time.
Western Crusader. Thanks, man.
Yeah. All right, ciao.